Hi, and welcome back to our podcast, Best Friends and Their Books. I'm Tracy here with my co-host and best friend.
Shelby.
We're so excited to talk to you today about all things bookish, including our book of the month for July, which is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. So let's jump in and get started. Starting with this month of July, did you read any good books?
I didn't read a lot this month. I think I started talking about it on our last episode, The Green Dot,
Hmm.
and I finished it and it took me forever to finish. Like it took me like 2 weeks just to get like 50% into the book. And it wasn't really that I like hated the book. I rated it like 3 stars, but the middle part was like it dragged on forever.
Was
But I liked it was like one of those books where like it's the main character just like narrates like everything that's happened to her, all of her like internal thoughts and all that stuff. And I liked reading it from that perspective, but
that's a
it
lot.
just, I don't know. It was not that great of a book to me.
Yeah.
Sorry. The only other book I read was The Paradise Problem because it took me like all month to read the other one. And I got really into Love Island this month. So that took up a lot of time.
Yeah.
What about
Um,
you?
this month, I think I started by with Wild Love. It's like there's it's an LC Silver book. It's
Hmm.
supposed to be another series, but this is like the first of a series that the second one's coming out in a little bit. But I read it and I don't think I've ever read anything so spicy. Like I was not prepared for it and it like honestly made me so uncomfortable. Like
Really?
it was way too much. Like it I didn't need every single detail of their sexual encounters. Like it was very very bad. In that aspect. I mean, it was fine. It was all right. I didn't really I like picked it because of the cover because I think the covers are cute,
Yeah.
but it's like not really my type of romance, but
Hmm.
definitely think that I can see why people like it. Um,
Yeah.
and then I finally got to Daisy Hates, which is the second book in the Magnolia Park series. Which was good too. And then I read Home is Where the Bodies Are, which is a newer book, which is like a thriller type.
Is that the one with the cassette tape
Yeah,
as the book cover? Okay. I remember you talking about that one.
like a VHS tape book cover and just like a murder mystery book, which was it was pretty good. And then I just finished yesterday, maybe Down the Drain by Julia Fox.
I've been
And
waiting for
so,
your um review on this. I'm all
oh my
ears.
goodness gracious. So I listened to it on audio, which I liked because she narrated it. Um, but I was like the whole time, it like I think because I'm such like kind of like a rule follower or like not so much when I was like young, it goes through like her life and like all the bad stuff she did. And she was like 11 or something when it like started all this bad stuff. And I was just like thinking back and like comparing to myself. I'm like, this is so uncomfy. Like, how are you this bad? Like, how do you have like no regards to consequences? Like, it made me like I was like on the edge of my seat, like in discomfort because of what she was doing.
Yeah, she's crazy. She was crazy.
Yeah, and she was like doing heroin and stuff, and then all these boyfriends,
Mhm.
and then her in like an insane asylum, and then like, um, I don't know. It was freaking wild. And then like then we jumped into her
I feel
life.
like she's lived like a million lives.
Yeah, because then we jumped forward and she's like married with a baby, and I'm like, whoa,
Mhm.
you were just doing heroin. It would seem like a day ago, and like then the like jumped like so quick into this like other life of hers. And then she like goes dating Kanye and like talked about that too, which was like also just wild. And I'm like so lost though, like how we got to her being this like wild hood rat in New York City.
To kind of like a socialite.
Yeah. Like how did
Like
she get
I
involved in the like all of a sudden she's in Los Angeles like filming a movie, I think.
yeah.
How
I
did we get
didn't find that part to be very clear
okay.
either. It kind of just seemed like she was one of those people that just kind of like fell into stuff
Yeah, that's
in a
true.
way. Like I don't know if it was just like the people that she knew from like her nightlife and like when
Then
she was
also
like a dominatrix and stuff. Like I think that
I
maybe she
forgot
like
about that. That was
might have she must have like had like connections and stuff like with that. I don't know. It did seem kind of like because I was like, you sound just like kind of like you're a party girl in New
yeah.
York City. But I was like, but how did you get like like the fame socialite aspect? Like
Yeah.
that part like seemed a little blurred.
And
But
then
I love that book. It was one of my favorites that I read last year.
actress. Like, it's not even like she became like a socialite. She was literally in a movie.
Yeah.
And like you didn't have any acting experience, and then you just are all of a sudden in a movie with Adam Sandler. Like,
Yeah.
what? And then her mom like hated her sister. Her mom was like MIA the whole book, but then like her dad, she lived with her dad, but then like her dad was MIA, but then like also why was she allowed to do all this stuff? Like what was her dad doing? I'm just very confused like why your 12-year-old is like smoking crack. Like honestly, like what are we doing here?
I don't know. It was, but I mean, her dad was in and out too. Like, remember her dad dated like her best friend's mom and stuff, and then they separated, and then like, I don't know.
That was wackadoodle. I was
And she was in and out of Italy, and
Yeah, like that was it was a lot. Like it was like I
hmm
think I finished it in like 1 or 2 days because it was just like steamrolling. But
yeah,
it was interesting. I didn't know anything about her until you told me about the book and then I read it. And now I'm just mind blown. I don't know. That's all I can say. It was like kind of mind blowing.
yeah, it was so crazy, but such a good book.
Yeah. And I'm also currently reading, which is another book that you read, is The Measure with the
Oh, okay.
I started reading that this month. It's kind of I've had like been struggling recently with anxiety. So it's kind of like triggering my anxiety actually.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like it's like, like a lot of like more morality, like think thoughts of my own, plus it's present in the book. And it's just like kind of like been a lot for my brain recently. So I kind of took a step away from it to like calm my thoughts and then hopefully I'll get
hmm
back. I do think it's going to be a good book. I like it so far. It's
Yeah.
a lot heavier than
It's
I
like a little too real in a
yeah.
way.
Yeah. I
Because, like,
think
I mean, I guess we all have like our invisible string in a
yeah,
way.
I know, and I like keep thinking about mine or like my husband's and like what would happen and like my mom's and like all of
Yeah.
that stuff and it's just like
And like, would you want to know? Would you not want to know? Like,
yeah. I know, especially becoming a parent, I think that I'm like, wait, I don't know, because I became a parent exactly at the same time that my frontal lobe developed. So I don't know if it was which one or was it, if my brain fully developed or if it was because it became a mom because it happened at the same time. But like ever since, I just feel like I'm like terrified to like die and leave my kids without a mom. So it's like
mhm.
that like weighs like really heavy on me. And like especially
Yeah.
book, like one of the girls has a short string and she wants to like adopt a kid with a short string and like I'm like triggered by it because I'm like, I don't, of course, I would like want everyone to be a parent, but like, how is that the right thing to do? And there's like a lot of moral
Yeah.
questions it rises. So
Yeah. It's a pretty crazy book. I don't think I rated it that high. I don't think I like truly enjoyed the book that much, but it does like make you think a lot.
yeah, I remember you telling me that you didn't like it that much, but you thought I would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it'd be something that you would like to read. I don't know if you're gonna rate it like 5 stars, but I feel like it's like something that would go up your alley.
yeah. Hope so. I hope I can get back to it soon and finish it.
Yeah.
Have you
Uh,
added
sorry.
good to your TBR?
Um, for July, oh, there's one that I'm like so excited about, but it hasn't come out yet. That I recently added to my TBR. It doesn't come out till September, but it's called So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. She was the one that wrote Black Sheep that I read a few months ago. It was like the first horror book that I ever read, and it was like this weird like culty book. Um, and I'm like really into books like that for some reason. Like I don't know why cults kind of I know I've said this like a million times on this podcast, but like cults kind of fascinate me.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm excited to read this book of hers. I think it's kind of like a vampire-y story, which is weird because I'm like not really into like uh I guess like books of that nature. Like what is it? I guess like
Fantasy.
supernatural fantasy. I don't know. But I'm excited because I liked her other book. And then I also recently added Stassi from Vanderpump Rules book to my TBR because her book, I think that one doesn't come out until September either. So I gotta wait for these books, but they were books that I just like found recently.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm
What else Stassi has to say because I feel like she's already had 2 books.
I know I'm kind of curious too.
And I feel like the final book was kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested to see what she does have to say in her new book. But I do really Stassi's Queen, forever and ever, amen. Like love her so much.
yeah.
I'm really
I
excited.
just love memoirs that like are by people that like I follow or that like I watched the show that they were on, like stuff like that.
I do
What about
love.
you?
I recently added Night Watching by Tracy Sierra. I actually have it over here. It's a thriller. I've been kind of away from thrillers for a little while, so I kind of want to get back into that space and like I think I read faster when I read thrillers. And
Yeah.
as I say that, I also have The Wedding People recently added to my TBR and A Novel Love Story, which is so weird because I feel like if you would have asked me last year if I would have read the majority love stories this year, I would tell you like heck no. But I don't know why I've been like vibing with them
Yeah,
recently.
maybe you're like
Most,
turning into the
most
romance girly.
maybe most of them. I don't also it's I'm very particular about my love stories.
Yeah.
I feel like I
I feel
hold it
like it's like
higher.
that time of year where I want to read a fantasy book. Like I get that like fantasy itch, but it hasn't really like
Hmm.
fully fully got me yet, you know?
I have a couple fantasies that I really want to read too. It's like the Powerless one. I think you got me that book for my birthday. Um,
Yeah.
and then I also want to read The Twisted Crown. It's like a series. Like I think there's either two or three of them. I really want to read them, and I really want to read the other. Start reading more Sarah J. Maas books because I've read the
Hmm.
Avatar, but like it's so hard to commit to a series for me because like I always
Me
like
too.
want to read them all, but then I get bummed that that's all I'm reading, if that makes sense. So I just
Yeah,
like
I like to switch
it
it up.
off. Yeah, I like put it off. Like, well, I'll be in this space like soon, and I can read all of them. But then that's what with the Magnolia Park series. I'm kind of like trying to switch it up,
Hmm.
because I could just sit there and read all of them in 1 month because I'm so obsessed. But yeah,
Yeah, I feel you on that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read the synopsis for our book of the month, The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. Christina Lauren returns with a delicious new romance between the buttoned-up heir of a grocery store chain and his free-spirited artist ex as they fake their relationship in order to receive a massive inheritance. Anna Green thought she was marrying Liam Weston for access to subsidized family housing while at UCLA. She also thought that she'd signed divorce papers when the graduation caps were tossed, and they both went on their merry ways. 3 years later, Anna is a starving artist living paycheck to paycheck, while West is a Stanford professor. He may be one of four heirs to the Weston Foods conglomerate, but he has little interest in working for the heartless corporation his family built from the ground up. He is interested, however, in his $100 million inheritance. There's just one catch. Due to an antiquated clause in his grandfather's will, Liam won't see a penny until he's been happily married for 5 years. Just when Liam thinks he's in the home stretch, pressure mounts from his family to see this mysterious spouse, and he has no choice but to turn to the one person he's afraid to introduce to his one percenter parents, his unpolished, not so ex wife. But in the presence of his family, Liam's fears quickly shift from whether the feisty, foul mouthed, paint splattered Anna can play the part to whether the will, or toxic world of wealth will corrupt someone as pure of heart as his surprisingly grounded and loyal wife. Liam will have to ask himself if the price tag on his flimsy cover story is worth losing true love that sprouted from a lie. The end.
alrighty then. Um, the alternating points of view, the Paradise Problem give the reader a front row seat to Anna and Liam's burgeoning development the burgeoning relationship as well as their character development. How do you think Anna and Liam will have been portrayed if the story had been told from the point of view of Blair, Alex, Jake, or Reagan?
um, I think this question is kind of funny, especially because it's asking about like the point of view of Blair, because all she like really cared about was like them like making out and like
Yeah.
having sex and stuff like that. So I feel like hers would just be like, oh, they're going to their bungalow now. Like, wonder what they're up to.
Yeah.
But then I feel like Alex is, if it was told from like the point of view of Alex, he'd be like trying to get to the bottom of their relationship, like kind of like how he was doing in that one part where I could tell as like the reader, he was like asking her like, "Oh, when is your birthday? What is like your last name?" Like, because he's like trying to find her records, like to prove to the point that like
Yeah, they're
she's
fake.
not a med student.
Yeah.
If the story had been told from the point of view of Jake, I don't know, he really wasn't like that much of a character to me, you
Mm.
know? And
Yeah.
neither was Reagan. I mean, actually a few points in there. But Yeah, what about you?
I liked that it I mean, I wouldn't want to see it from the point of view of anybody else besides like the two main characters.
Yeah.
But I think that them the dual point of view between them was really helpful because I think if it was just Anna's point of view, we would lose so much context because she didn't know that much about Liam. Like she didn't have these details. She didn't
Hmm.
know his family. Like she was just kind of figuring it out as the story went on. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that it would have also kind of painted Liam as a little bit sketchy. So like being able to see his point of view and like his family from his eyes, like allowed us to trust him and know that like and like grow to love him because I think from her point of view, like
It
why
probably would have just made him look like a snooty, like rich guy, basically.
with like
He
not
gets
good
everything that he wants.
yeah and not good intentions.
Yeah. I actually like I liked both of them pretty much for like the whole book. Like I he didn't really give me like very many red flags at all. And she didn't really either. Like they seemed like just kind of like I mean, I know he was like a rich guy, but like they just seemed kind of
Yeah.
like normal in a way.
Yeah. That's why
Uh
I know this is kind of jumping ahead, but with him, like what happens in the end, I was like, he's gonna get out of it. He's gonna clear his name because he didn't actually do this.
mhm.
It made me like trust him to know that he was right and that his family was
Yeah.
that it was gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's true. Like this whole time he just like kind of builds himself up as like a trustworthy
Yeah.
person in a way. But okay, so something that's like not related to this question at all. Why did he have like three names?
I know that was so confusing.
Like in the first chapter, he's like Liam, West, and William. And I was like, there's no reason for this, like at all.
I know it
This
wasn't
little
like I don't know, his name was like Oliver and it was like Ollie
yeah, I was like, are we talking
Oliver.
all about the same
Oh.
person right
Yeah,
now?
they were not related names.
No. I mean, I guess Liam comes from William, but
I
like
don't
most of
know.
the time,
Most people
I
don't.
mean,
William, you
most
just call him Will usually.
that's yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like Liam is like the ending of the word. So like I could see where you pulled it from that, but like it would be one thing if his name was William and they called him Will throughout the story, you know?
Or just Will and Liam.
Yeah.
But then when Wes got thrown in there, and then only she called him Wes, and then his family was confused. Like I was like, what is the
I
point
was
of?
like, why are we confused? I don't understand. We've been calling him this the whole book.
Oh, that was wild. That was a wild ride.
Yeah, that wasn't
That wasn't
no.
necessary.
Don't do that again.
Maybe it's because it's dual author. This is gonna get to one of my later, but
Oh.
and then
Yeah.
one was calling it one thing and one was calling the other, and they were trying to mend it. I don't know. The ending of the book takes the reader through the months and years following Anna and Liam's trip to Indonesia. Instead of finding an immediate happy ending, the two grow their relationships and overcome hurdles together before finally agreeing to a real marriage. What did you make of this ending? Do you think it was realistic? Did you like that it went beyond the plot of the island wedding to explore who Anna and Liam were of that outside of that setting?
Yeah, I mean, it was realistic in like a book way,
Yeah.
you know? Like if they wanted to make it unrealistic, they probably would just like fell in love super quickly and like stayed married or whatever. But like I feel like they like kind of made it like, oh, we were ended up being long distance. And then we finally like a year later bought our house together. Like it seemed like a little bit more like normal people
Yeah.
type of progression in their relationship. I guess like the only part that's like a little bit unrealistic is like to get up and move your dad away from where he had been living was a little bit kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like that's not as realistic. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't seem very realistic to me. And they are like I don't know. Yeah, I feel like them having like a long yeah, because in a book they couldn't like really explain a long distance relationship. It would have been boring. So I get why it happened like this in a book, but it's not realistic in any way outside of a book context, I don't think.
yeah. I did hope that they would stay together afterwards though.
Yeah, for sure. At the beginning of the relationship, Anna and Leah met and got married with the sole objective of securing family housing at their university and having no intention of pursuing romance. Discuss the marriage of convenience trope and how it affected your understanding of Anna and Liam's relationship. Where were there other tropes present in the book?
Yeah, I I feel like it was kind of weird why they needed to get married. Like, why did they both need to live on campus? I mean, I guess in the beginning it said that like her ride would be too long to get to classes or something.
Yeah, and she couldn't afford like another apartment by herself.
But
Like
then
it,
why did he need to live on campus?
I kind of felt like he was just doing it as a favor because he wanted to live on campus, and then is like his just like a favor to his brother.
I don't know. I feel like that's like a really like big thing to do just as like a favor. Like, let me actually legally get married to you
That's true.
as a favor.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like if he was so rich, like, and she was doing him a favor by getting him into the housing that was close, why wouldn't he just pay for her half of the rent?
yeah,
Like it was like
that's weird.
nickels to him. Like to her, it was probably a lot, but it did say that she was like getting like reduced rent or something from doing this.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but I don't think I've ever read a book that was like marriage of convenience or dating of convenience trope. I don't know. I'd have to like really go back and look. Um, it definitely seems pretty unrealistic to do in a way.
I've never.
But some of the other tropes, it had like a little bit of like grumpy sunshine. Like he was like a little bit of like a hard cookie to crack, and she was kind of like eclectic and more of like the sunshine. Close proximity dating because they had to be like stay in the bungalow together,
On bed.
one bed type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read books where it's like fake dating for
Hmm.
not really like for this, not in this instance where it's like fake marriage and then for like convenience. Like it's more like
Yeah.
dating like something random.
Hmm.
That's pretty weird. I don't know. I maybe I would do fake dating, but I don't think that
Big
like
marriage is a little crazy.
yeah. Especially for him. Like, did she sign a prenup? Like,
Yeah.
I guess
And
he
I don't,
wanted her to know so she wouldn't like come after his money. I feel like
yeah, I don't like,
you'd
I
think
don't
too
know.
of a family like okay, so like your family has a ton of money and you're getting married. You would think that that family would have done like a background check and like I mean, they don't know this person at all and like their money is at stake because she's marrying into the family like they get divorced like half and half. You know like
Yeah, but I don't think they like knew that he like
married her.
married her.
Then when did they find it out? Because they knew at the end like when he went there.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there were like so many plot holes. Unless it was just like me, I feel like this book left me a little confused. Like,
Because you
I
think
don't
of a
understand.
family of that status would have like really like figured her out as either as soon as they knew that they got married or like before they got married. Like they would have like
And I
done.
don't understand why he like went and served her divorce papers after he moved out after it had only been 2 years, but then his like contract thing needed to be 5 years. So he's just like, oh well, let me just go along with it and bring this lady to the island because we've technically been together. I
Yeah.
don't know. Does anyone else get this book? Send us a message.
Like a little strange. The math ain't math in here, okay?
No, it wasn't. The
Um,
reasoning was like always a little bit off to me.
yeah. Yeah, even for her,
It
like
it made me feel like the authors really wanted to write like a fake marriage type of book, but
didn't have this.
like it just
Yeah.
there was just parts that didn't connect for me.
Yeah. Liam offers Anna $100,000 to come to Indonesia with him to pose as one of the two to pose as if the two have been happily married for 5 years in order to secure his inheritance from his grandfather. Anna accepts so she can use the money to pay off her father's medical debt and have a more comfortable life as a struggling artist. What do you think you would do if you were presented with this offer? What circumstances might encourage you to take it or turn it down? Like,
Um, First of all, the guy is an heir of like $1 billion grocery store chain, and you're only taking $100,000 from him.
no, those I'd be negotiating the crap out of that. Like,
Yeah,
no.
and she was like, what number would make you kind of like on the verge of like squirm or whatever, like say no and yes, like that's the number I want. Because at first she was only like 10,000, and I was like,
Girl, $10,000 ain't nothing.
no, like I I was like, even in the end, I was kind of mad that he agreed to 100,000 because I was like, you know, that's lowballing her.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that pissed
It's
me
just
off a
like
lot,
going,
actually.
yeah, when it's just going to her, like, especially if you're paying off medical debt, like, that's like nothing. Like,
Yeah,
she
that
would
could that
still have
also
medical after that.
where are they that like that's gonna help her survive as an artist, pay off her father's medical debt and whatever else it is that um she's paying for. I don't even know. I feel like there's a few things maybe that she was supposed to be paying for, but like I'm like maybe that's like a month.
Yeah. Not
Like
even. My son spent
like
one night at the ER and I got a $15,000 bill for like one night at the ER. And her dad's been in the hospital for like months. Like,
yeah, I was like this is like not
no.
good. But honestly it sounded kind of like a cool way to make some money. Like
Yeah. And a free
I
vacation.
feel I could play the part if someone was like if
Oh,
she had it was like all the stars had aligned for her. She just lost her job, so you don't need to request off for 10 days.
yeah.
He filled her closet with like the clothing that she needs to wear. Don't have to worry about packing. Plus she had her friend there that like wanted to do it for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all she had to do was just kind of like stay on his arm as arm candy. That's all he wanted in the beginning, which it kind of confused me why he would tell them that she was a doctor.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just, because he was
But
embarrassed.
then but then he wanted her to just stay on his arm the whole time. So I'm like, why? I don't know. It was,
I think because
ah,
if he said that she was an artist, they wouldn't believe it that they were actually married. Like, I don't think they would have believed that he actually married like low class, you know?
yeah.
But I don't know, like you think it'd be harder to keep up with the lie, and like your family has all the money and all the resources to look into her. Like you think
Mhm.
that he would understand that and not want to lie
Yeah.
because they're gonna find out.
Yeah. But I think I would definitely ask for more money than she
Oh,
did.
for sure. I would have asked for more
I mean,
money.
like, why not? Like, knowing it wasn't a surprise to her how much money they had, also. Like, he was like, at that point, he told her that like his inheritance was going to be like $100 million, I believe.
Yeah.
And you only want 100,000.
Mm. What's yours is mine, baby. We're married. You want to be married? Let's be married. Like
I mean, like at least ask for like a
a
million
million.
dollars. That's only 1% of his inheritance. Like that's
Yeah.
like pocket change to him still.
Yeah, for sure. Blair, Liam's sister-in-law, is one of the only members of the Weston family who accepts Anna, an outsider, when she comes to the island. She's outspoken, often raunchy, and quick to acknowledge the ridiculous behavior of the Weston family. She also clearly values the wealth of the family that she married into and relies heavily on it. What did you make of the Blair character and her relationship with money?
I felt like she was like a comedic relief type of character. I actually like kind of liked her because she like kind of just come out of nowhere and just be like, I don't know, just fun, say funny things. But
Yeah,
like obviously I feel like she's jaded in a way. Like she's like, whatever, like I'm just living my life and I got money, like
yeah.
I just let them do their thing. I'm
Yeah.
good over here, like type of thing.
I think that too, if I married into a family where it's like their responsibility for the wealth and you're just kind of living off of it, I'd be the same way. Like,
Hmm.
I'm just here, like, I got the, like, my husband, love of my life, really good benefit. They have money, and I'm just gonna live accordingly.
I don't even think her husband was the love of her life. Though. They didn't seem unhappy, but like they just didn't seem like they were like compatible personalities
Yeah.
in a way. But she was probably just like, whatever. I got
I
my
got what,
kids. I have my money. Like I
yeah.
get to go on fancy vacations,
Yeah.
set for life.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah.
It's revealed that Liam's father made Liam take fall for his own corrupt business practices in order to maintain his job as CEO, which permanently fractured his relationship with his son and caused Liam not to speak to his father for years. How do you think you would react if a loved one publicly threw you under the bus for their mistakes, even if on a smaller scale? Would you be able to show forgiveness and would you distance yourself from them?
I would definitely distance myself from them as he tried to do. I don't know why he was able to take the blame for everything when it was definitely like in the end when it explains that it was his dad that was more like stalking the employees and like going in their emails like and I guess they would say, "Oh, well like he like West made the system like he made the inventory system so it was like him doing it." But like what would like an 18-year-old really want to be why would he care about what's going in and out of people's emails? Like that's like something that a boss who is like a sketchy boss would do. So I
Yeah.
don't see why he took the fall for his dad's stuff. I mean, I guess it was to just like get the public to shut up, to keep the company going and everything like that.
I feel like it's
But
because his dad probably threatened him like,
why
well, if
take
I lose my job, you're losing money too, because I'm giving you money. So like if I lose this, you're losing it too, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I don't think he was going to lose his inheritance.
No, but
I
there
don't
was,
think it was connected to like,
I'm sure he like was thinking about more than his inheritance though, like he
yeah.
had much more money than that and like more privileges. So I'm sure that he saw like the biggerness of it than just that
I don't know. I don't think I could take that kind of like crash and fall that like his dad
put
put
on
on
him.
him. Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, I don't think it's, I don't know why I see both sides. I don't know if I'm just like playing devil's advocate, but like I see it too. Like you're 18, you can recover from it, whereas dad might not have been able to. And like,
Hmm.
I don't know.
I guess maybe because his dad like hid some like way more like illegal things happening too.
Yeah.
But like, why does it fall on West or Liam or whatever, William, whoever he is?
I
Willie, I don't know. Like,
know it's like not right.
why is his dad's um like all the things that his dad did wrong like gonna fall on just him? Like just because he was the creator of that inventory system.
Yeah. It's not fair at all.
No.
And his dad was a slime bag, but I could see his dad like manipulating the situation.
Yeah. I mean, he had people. I guess that's the thing
Yeah.
is he had more people in his back pocket that were getting paid big bucks.
Yeah.
And Liam didn't have people in his back pocket yet because he was an 18-year-old or 17-year-old, whatever.
Easy target.
Yeah.
Um, a common or well, part of that question, sorry, I'll go back. Um, would you be able to show forgiveness or would you distance yourself from them? I don't know, like there's a hard
I
time
don't think
because
his
it's dad.
huh.
Like I feel like it's hard because that is his dad. Like if it was like someone else in my life, maybe, but like that's like because when you distance yourself from him, he's controlling the rest of the family, and then you're also distancing yourself from the whole family.
Yeah, well, I think that's the part that Liam had like the most trouble with is he knew that like his decision affected everyone else.
Yeah.
Um, which was also okay. I have another question, like something that didn't add up for me that this kind of reminded me of. So it was saying that his if after they were married for 5 years, then they got like their remaining $100,000 inheritance. But if he divorced, then that would cause his siblings to not get their remaining $100,000. But his brother Alex and Alex's wife Blair had already been married for like 10 years. So
Yeah,
they'd
but
already gotten their inheritance.
yeah,
And
they
that $100 million never said it was like staggered. It was staggered for the 5 years
yeah.
they were married. So how
I thought they
would
I thought they none of them got the inheritance until they all got married for 5 years.
did you say that? I don't.
I don't know, maybe I made that up in my mind to make it make sense because I have no idea. It's like very confusing.
Yeah, I just like didn't know how him divorcing, even though the other siblings didn't know about this loophole.
Yeah.
But
But
Alex would have already had his money.
it did say that even though they were married for 10 years, that it would affect their inheritance too. But I don't really remember the
But
stipulation.
they already got it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right?
It's this is just we need a lawyer to read this book and give us like the factuals because this is really confusing.
Yeah, but I think I would have to distance myself. Going back to your question, I would have to distance myself from the dad because I just like don't think I could.
Because then you can't trust, I'm sorry, if you have enough whatever to throw your kid under the bus, then what else are you going to do to them?
Yeah, I mean, and he kept holding like everything over Liam's head the whole time.
Yeah. And I don't think that he was the greatest dad before that either. So it's not like,
No.
I mean, I would throw myself under the bus for my mom just because like she's my mom, she's a good mom. Like I would do it like voluntarily if she needed.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if she was a crappy mom, I'd be like, oh hell no.
Yeah. I would have no second thoughts.
Yeah. So a common theme in the Paradise Problem is that money can't buy happiness. As wealthy as Liam family is, there are continuously angry, upset, or irritated with one another, and other people on the island despite being surrounded by decadence. At which point of the story can you see that the family's exorbitant wealth has negatively affected each member? How does Anna's personality affect and life circumstances affect or serve as the antithesis to the Weston families? Sorry, this is like
Um,
reworded questions.
yeah, that's a lot of questions. I feel like so they have so much money that like it created problems
Mm,
in their family. Like they say like money can't buy you happiness, but I think there's like a limit maybe on that. Like
yeah,
because there are a lot of things in life that would make me happier if I did have like more money.
yeah,
Like, if I paid off all of like my debt, my mortgage, my car, my student loan, like all those things, like I think it would make me happier knowing I didn't have to go and pay those bills every month because then I could use my that money for something more fun than paying bills.
yeah.
Um, but I guess it has like a cap because for them they like don't realize the luxury of having that
Mm,
much money. Like it's just normal life. Like to them, like all the craziness like that was like a wedding week
yeah,
on that private island with all like the beautiful decor, all the beautiful everything, like it goes unappreciated, like because they're just kind of I feel
accustomed.
like accustomed to it. Like it's nothing new. It's not like, oh, this is so beautiful. It's just like this is just how we live. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that doesn't really like answer the question. But I feel like they are just so wealthy that they let stuff create their problems. Like they didn't even care about the fact that they ruined their sister's wedding.
Mm. Yeah, like it wasn't
It
even
was
thought like
just,
let me just save it for after the wedding and like
yeah, like any
blow
normal
this
person
up.
would.
Yeah.
But they are so like money hungry and stuff. Like Alex like wanted to like prove his brother wrong so badly, like because
Yeah.
he wanted to be the CEO. They're just like very like hungry for power and wealth.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, if I had all the money in the world, like, I would just invest it and like not work. Like, I think money could buy me happiness if I could, like you said, like pay off all my bills and then travel the world or like
Yeah.
hire someone to do my laundry or like, things that would like give me more time to like enjoy the finer things of life. But I feel like it was
Hmm.
strange for them that they had all this money and then they chose to like be the CEO and still run the company and still do this, which just felt like greedy
Yeah.
like for just like a power trip, which it wasn't really like using the money to like make them happy.
Yeah. And I feel like if none of them wanted, I mean, kind of like how Liam didn't want to work like for the family business, like their dad would probably hold it over their head that like this is like a family business that your grandfather built. So like yes, you will be working for like this company. Like
Yeah, but
they
that's more power for him because then he has his minions on
Mhm.
the team to control and like it's still his. Um
Yeah.
yeah, I think I mean I recently like saw something where it's like, what crap, what is it? Like 1 million minutes or hours. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher this, but it's like 1 million minutes is 3 days, when 1 billion minutes is like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like just
It's a
like
big difference.
yeah,
Like
like gauging the difference in those, and like when you're towards like the billions, like it. And like this is like political, but like why we don't need billionaires because no one really
yeah.
needs like that much money because
Yeah, like there's like you
like
can't
a
go through
million
your
dollars
life using
a
it.
day, yeah, and like never.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like Taylor, I mean Taylor Swift, like, she's just became like one of the one women billionaires in the world, and like she's giving like $1 million raises to like her like dancers and shit because like
Mhm.
she's more probably like more aware. She came from humble beginnings ish and like is more aware of like the power that she can do with money, where I feel like so many
Yeah.
billionaires like don't use it for good and they
Just
just
like
like
hoard it.
hoard it and they're like so greedy about it. It's like doesn't make sense in my mind why.
Yeah.
You're never gonna need
And
it.
it is such a big difference. Like $1 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah. That's
Even
just
100, even their inheritance 100 million. Like I don't think I could fathom having $100 million.
no, and like because when you have that much money too, it just like accumulates more and more because like think about like the dividends on a freaking like if you get 5% back of 100 million, like
Yeah.
you spend it, you get all this like you could just do nothing but have it sit in a bank account and you're just making so much money hand over fist still.
Yeah,
Like blows my mind. So,
it is so crazy. I
yeah.
feel like so for like the second part of the question where it was like how do Anna's personality and life circumstances serve as the antithesis to the Weston families?
Mhm.
It's like she is like rock bottom kind of like poor. Like she doesn't have a job anymore.
Yeah.
And like the job that she did have was like working as a cashier and then doing art on the side, like trying to so hard to sell her paintings. Like she realizes like what it is, what it takes to actually like earn her money
Mhm.
and like try to live off of like her low wages and like make it work and also spending money on her father's like medical bills and everything. Like I feel like she just has this perspective when she's like thrown into the family that like you guys are absolutely insane. Like you don't need all this money
Yeah.
and
It's
like
wasteful. Like the wedding, like she noticed things like the wedding's wasteful. Like you got all this stuff on this island. Like what are you gonna do with when it's done? This is just like
yeah,
wasteful. And it's like inconsiderate of other humans at that point that you're just like, like you could
it's just like greed. Yeah.
yeah, you could feed a whole country instead of doing XY.
Hmm.
Just like when do you draw the line to like of the morality issue? And
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised too she wasn't a little bit more like because she came from nothing and it was so opposite. I was a little bit more surprised that she wasn't in awe and like wanting that life.
Yeah.
Because I
I think
think
she
it's
knew if she
hard.
took that life, like all the drama that would
Yeah.
be in her life.
Yeah.
And she
Um,
seemed to like care for having a more like
normal.
just happy little life type of thing.
Yeah. This is written by two authors. What did you think of their style of writing and how do you feel like it would be to write a novel with someone else?
Okay, so it just came to my attention that this is not the first Christina Lauren book that I read. This whole time I thought this was the first time that I read it, but we actually reviewed In a Holidays, not last December, but the December before that,
Mhm.
in a podcast episode. And I don't think I realized it as much then, but like this book felt very jumbled to me. I like hate being like such a hater and like a critiquer of authors because like I couldn't do half the work that they do,
Yeah.
but it just didn't feel very good. And I actually, even today, when I was sitting here thinking about this book, changed my rating to be even lower because of how confusing I felt like that it left me.
Yeah.
I just felt like there's like a lot of unanswered things that we've like said over this episode and just like in my head.
Yeah.
Um,
Even the name, I'm like, did Christina want William and then Lauren wanted
yeah,
West? And like then we got all confused. Like I don't remember this being the holidays, but the holidays was really short book and it was very like
I don't even remember what it was about.
it wasn't as
Oh,
like
I kind of remember a little bit, but
the story was pretty straightforward. So I'm wondering like with the complexities of this book, if it just got more complicated there being two points of two people.
yeah. And like I don't know who's responsible for what. Like
That's
sometimes when I was reading it, there would be like parts where like they were super descriptive of like her outfits or like the scene of the like one of the wedding parties and stuff, like just very descriptive about like colors and like design and everything. And I was like, I wonder if like this is like the strong point of like one of the authors and like maybe the other one's like better at writing like the like spicy scenes or
yeah.
like I was like it made me like think about the fact that there were two people writing this book and like what each of them is responsible for, or is it just like I do chapter one and then you take what I've written after chapter one and you write chapter two and then I take that? Like how do they do it? I don't
I know.
understand.
It seems so messy to me because even though I feel like I
Yeah.
have a good team, like can work well in a team, I think that this is like way too personal. And don't you have the idea in your head already I don't know how writing a book works. Maybe I should look into that more, but like you'd think that you'd already have most of it figured out in your mind. So then how are you like doing that with someone else? Because it seems like
Yeah.
a personal thing to me.
Yeah. And maybe it seems like they both like had so many ideas that like it gets jumbled.
Maybe. Maybe that's the
And
case.
which one of them is the one that refers to Liam's family jewels or whatever you want to call
Oh
them.
God.
I don't know what we can say on this podcast or anything. but they called it the goddamn the whole time. I was like, did I get like a censored version of this book? Was this like the E for everyone version? Like every time I saw them, right,
I'm
just
like,
like
what? I think
kids,
I just blush.
like they replaced the word with goddamn, and I was like, we're just calling it a goddamn now? Like,
oh, that was so
no,
strange.
because if me and you were writing a book together and you made me say that instead of the real word, I would say, no, we're not doing this. That's too weird.
I know, because it wasn't even like she like funnily named it and like it was a story or something. Like it was
Yeah.
gonna be like, goddamn. Like,
His goddamn. Like, what? No, like
what? At first I was like, his what? I literally it went over my head at first. At first I was
I definitely had to read it like twice the first time that I read
like
it.
his abs, like there's other parts of my body that I think are like more I'd be more excited about than like that. Like I don't know. I was like, that's not like I don't know.
But like it kept on throughout the book. Like the first time they said it, I was like,
Oh,
okay.
goodness
But then
gracious.
they kept referring to it as that, and I was like,
This is weird.
why are we doing this?
I mean, all right. I'm gonna start calling it that now. My husband's gonna smack me. He's like, "What the heck are you?"
Let me see that goddamn.
I'm like, "What the
Be like,
heck?"
please no.
Um, I know we talked a little bit earlier about the ending of the book, but it didn't really kind of go in the epilogue and kind of what happened there. So, did you feel the ending was predictable? And what were your final thoughts?
Yes and no. I definitely thought that, like, okay, so at the ending,
Mhm.
he says no and then he says yes to his dad.
That was confusing
And
too.
then he says no again. So I thought it was just going to be like off the bat, no. And that was like the final answer. I didn't think it was going to be like no, yes, no,
Yeah.
or yes, yes, no, yes. I can't remember the order.
No, yes,
But he
no.
was very wishy-washy about his answer until the ending where it was like, oh, his dad's going to jail type of thing.
Yeah.
From like the insider trading.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of always thought that they were going to stay together at the end. Like I thought that he was gonna not be like under his dad's wing basically for this job. Like I think he was gonna choose a life of happiness without all of the money.
Mhm.
And like he kind of did, but kind of didn't. Like, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he got the best
Kind of
of
got like
both
the best of
worlds.
both worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and like I know that they were cute together and that they were a good couple and it was fine, but I really do kind of wonder if they are going to last because they were so different. They had such
Hmm.
different upbringings, like everything about them was opposite. And especially now because he did get best of both worlds and he's gonna have a part of that world in his life. Like if Anna's gonna be like, if in the long run, it's gonna work out
Yeah.
being like that. I guess we'll
I
never
don't know.
know, but I had
We'll
doubts.
never know.
I had doubts.
Yeah. What was your rating?
So I put a 4 star when I finished it. I don't know why though, because it's like a 3 for me. Like not even like a high 3. It's like just a 3.
Yeah, I would say like throughout most of the book, I was like 3.75. And then when it got like kind of faster speed at the end and things were happening, I was like, oh, maybe a 4. So I rated it 4 when I finished it. But like now that I've sat back and like thought about it a lot more,
Yeah.
it's a 3.5.
Yeah. Womp womp womp. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited for our August book, which is The Lion Women of Tehran by Marion Kamali. Um, it's kind of a mix up. We haven't done I mean, yes, we did the women, but this just kind of seems like a little bit out of our element.
Yeah. And plus the women was like a while ago.
Yeah. So I'm really
We've done a
excited.
lot of romance
Yeah.
recently.
It's been pretty romance heavy. So I'm excited to kind of have something to discuss other than people's relationships.
Yeah.
Not that this might not have a relationship or whatnot, but just
I'm sure it will, like all books, but like,
yeah, more substance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you for listening.
We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.